Hi, I'm a vegetarian that eats fish. Okay. Now, in order to add variety to my diet, we look for vegan, vegetarian um, suppliers for things like patties and juices and soups. So I've narrowed the options down to two providers. Now, one provider has a taste profile that is vastly, definitely, hands down better than the other one. And as you can imagine, if we're talking about food, taste should be one of the primary factors to decide where to go. Surprise, surprise, surprise. I actually spend a lot more money with the not so good, not as good, put it this way, tasting supplier as with the other. And the reason is this. I can go to them, I feel more comfortable. If I'm running late, I can say, hey, put aside, you know, this for me, and I pick it up later. Or, for example, I can say to them, hey, could you add some ginger and beetroot to my carrot juice? That is the power of personalizing the customer experience. I'm Trevor E.S. Smith, and that's what will engage us today. The whole issue of continuing along the path of customer centricity and looking at how personalizing customer experiences can drive customer loyalty, even when your food doesn't taste as good as your competitor. Uh, So let's look at the context. Well, I've shared some of it already, which is looking at how we can enhance customer experiences such that they become loyal, raving fans. We want to look at three anchor principles because, as usual, we do not like to detain you for much more than a half an hour or so. And so we look at three principles: understanding customer preferences, customizing offerings, and personalizing the communication. I want to invite you to take some action and let's move forward. As we can see in the chat, and the tag at the bottom, I'm still right up front inviting you to let's have a conversation around our DISCerning Communication model to see how that can help you to enhance your customer experiences. So just pop me an email, info@successwithpeople.org, and we will respond. Let's have a conversation around how our DISCerning Communication model can, in fact, enhance your customer centricity. So we want to look at how personalizing customer experiences can cement lasting connections with your valued customers. Yeah. So if you're delivering experiences just like this, a carrot juice that now has beetroot and ginger in it will in fact invite me to come back again as against one that just is carrot juice. So it can foster loyalty in an environment in which there are people like me that says, I like a little ginger and beetroot is healthy. So customers are becoming more discerning, more picky, more choosy, and also they will move more readily to other suppliers. Yes, customer loyalty is not as it was once, where everybody has to line up and you can choose whether you want to serve them or not. And part of that comes from social media and the supporting technologies and all of those algorithms that help social media to identify specifically you. So you happen to click on a shoe one day, and for the next months, there this follows you everywhere you go. I'm just saying that has sort of spoiled customers where they're a lot more demanding. They do no longer see themselves as a faceless, part of the faceless mass. Yeah? Customers now do not just want personalized experiences. They're demanding it, they're expecting it. So that then speaks to the importance, but let us use some actual studies rather than my anecdotal statements. There was a study done by Accenture that indicates that 91% of consumers are more likely to shop with brands that provide relevant offers and recommendations. That is why your email and is bombarded with offers. Hey, people who bought this also like that. Would you like to move? That's it. There's this demand now, this interest to invite you to explore other options. Yes. So when I go now to my vegan supplier and I just want a soup or a patty, now they say no juice today. We have this, kind of bun. So they understand me, they know my needs. That's important. And not only do they know it, but they put it before me. They invite me to go along with my profile. So that's important. Okay, so Epsilon, 80% of consumers are more likely to do business with a company that offers personalized experiences. There we go. Personalization creates a sense of connection and makes customers feel understood and valued. That's it. When I go into the better tasting supplier, I'm just one of the customers. They don't know me. It's just line up. Next, come, go. When I go into my now preferred provider, yeah, food doesn't taste as good, but they know me. We can talk and we can, have a little run, just a little fun, talk about any little thing, and then I'm feeling comfortable in that environment. All right. So what are the anchors then? Remember, we're looking at 3 anchors that can help you to move the process forward as you personalize your customer experiences. So I'm strongly suggesting that you use our DISCerning communication principles. Yes. The DISCerning model that we have is built on the DISC framework: dominance, influence, steadiness, conscientiousness. That 4-quadrant approach that looks to individuals who are more decisive, more driven, more independent in thought, individuals who want to engage in their communication, wants to experiment, individuals who basically would probably be more reliable, would stick to what it is that they have done before, will probably be more loyal unless something happens to breach their trust. And then the more, I suppose, evaluative, persons that who might even have a spreadsheet to work out pros and cons as to where to go. So that's a framework. But if we understand the DISC principle, that DISCerning principle, and to be able to tailor then our approaches and the messaging, we can actually start to personalize the experiences of the individual. What I'm saying here, if they can hear you, and I don't mean auditory, but in terms of behavior, if they have a sense that you can feel them, that you can understand them, then they can communicate with you behaviorally. And that way, they're more likely to stay. So I'm just suggesting that we should look at this whole question of DISCerning communication, principles that revolve around that emanate from the concept, and to see how that can then help you to personalize the customer experiences. And let me just share one thing again. I'm at pains to put on the table that when we're talking about customers, again, basic customer service 101, customer service, there are internal and external customers. And it is important for us to start to look more deeply at how we can create positive, empowering, engaging experiences for our staff, our colleagues. When we get to a place where the internal customer experience is positive, is engaging, people are excited about working in the organization, then we can't stop that from manifesting itself outside. So I do not see how we can have raving external customers when internally people are at daggers drawn. People are not engaged. People are just going through the motions. Yeah, consistent evaluations of uh, employee engagement show low levels in the 30s. So it means that 60% of the staffers are just going through the motions. They're not engaged. How can you then expect the organization to be engaging and exciting to customers? So customer relates to internal stakeholders as well as external. And if we can then start to see how we can understand our colleagues better, how do I present information to my colleague? How do I give them the information in the way that they want it? How do I give instructions in a way that lands well with my direct reports? How do I give feedback that lands well? Those are considerations that must anchor any serious attempt to create unique, engaging, external customer experiences. So, personalized offering. So, again, if we understand our customers better, if we understand that there is someone who wants juices with a little bit extra, a little ginger in it, maybe a little beetroot, then that customer is likely to come back because we are meeting their needs. And that's what it is that we want. Let me share something with you, again, from my own experiences. All right. So we know we have the Caribbean franchise for extended DISC behavioral assessments. So traditional providers of behavioral assessments provide the assessment. You go online, you pay whatever it is, and you get the results done. And we are there. I have a consultant who works with leaders, and for years now, well before COVID, we have worked together where the individual that he's coaching at a particular time does or extended this DNA assessment. And then we have a joint 30-minute session with the individual where I, from the assessment, unlock limiting factors, hidden, things that might be causing the individual not to perform at their very best, and to give them a pathway to improved performance and to improve their influence and impact. So that's an addition. So that's a customization. That's a personalized approach, which means that's why it's coming back. It's coming back because not only now is he getting an assessment that's world class, but also he has access to an expert who can draw from the assessment insights that can be leveraged to enhance his coaching. That's what we're saying is, how willing are we to personalize our offerings to the point where we can make a difference, where the customer is benefiting, the customer sees something that's unique to them. I share another example. So we also are deeply engaged in developing and enabling technologies to support capacity development and so on. So we have a Spike multifaceted technology that we offer. But Spike actually started out as a learning management system. Then there were challenges with respect to money laundering, and so we added a Compliance management feature. And as we have gone along, our clients have asked for certain solutions, certain features, and we have complied. And as a matter of fact, we pride ourselves and try to be a step ahead to say, hey, would this enhance your productivity in your organization? And so that's what it is. So that's why customers would be in the process. We also have a TVET control, technical vocational education and training control solution. That is the same way. This is over a decade now that we have look at all of the challenges that the client is having and to say, hey, look at this. This can make a difference. I remember the presentation that we made. I had two houses. I had one, where people were just adding on little pieces, and you could see, okay, find a little roof go on here, a little room there, and it looks pitchy patch. And then there was a nice, carefully laid out one. And I said, listen to me. We can go ahead where you're looking at little pieces here, use some of the technology, and you can use some of your Excel sheets, and you can use another, or we can set out and come up with a control center that's structured, that's organized, that's ready to deal with your needs. That's what we're talking about. That approach to looking at what it is that we're putting on the table and how can we better embrace our customers, better understand their needs, and try to even get ahead of them in terms of tailoring our solutions to them. Hope this is landing somewhere. This is making sense. I mean, some of this is kind of, obvious, but is it happening in reality? And the challenges, I think, is that ownership of it, is that you're listening now, maybe you don't own the process, and you're saying, oh, this is a bigger thing than me. I can't determine what it is that we're doing. I can't determine the services. And that's part of what it is that there's not a buy-in from the very top, because customer service, which is what people still calling it, is something that they pass on to somebody at a lower level to deal with. So top management is engaged in strategic thinking and all of that. But at the end of the day, it is the customers that pays the bill. And we need to get to a place where we can get that same level of engagement from the very top. Otherwise, it's going to be a problem. And that's why last week we spoke about the top-down approach to customer centricity. It has to be driven from the top, because there are some fundamental principles that are not resident in the middle tiers. Just a thought. All right. So the other thing is, again, when we talk about personalize, okay, you must remember to call the person by the name. That's not it. Sorry, that's part of it, but it's not really where we're going. We're talking about a deeper understanding of their preferences, anticipating, that's what we talked about, anticipating their needs and creating tailored experiences that have a lasting impression on them. Not only impression, but actually makes a difference to their productivity on a day-by-day basis. So Evergage did a study, and what they found is that 88% of marketers reported a measurable improvement in business results due to personalization efforts. It's clear. It's clear. My vegetarian vegan supplier obviously gets more business now because I feel I can go and get a carrot juice with beetroot and ginger, or that I can say, hey, hold on to some split pea patties for me until I come. Yes. Or, today I want to have some of your cream of broccoli soup. That's something that goes right to the bottom line. So I'm just suggesting, as the study indicates here, that increased engagement is going to lead to higher levels of conversion and will drive increases in revenue. So the third anchor, yes, is personalized communication. How do we actually communicate with our clients to improve their experience? And when I say communicate, not just the language, not going back into communication 101, I'm talking about a deeper understanding of what's going on with the client. So years ago, I was a medical representative, and let me tell you one strategy that I used. I didn't call it DISCerning Communication then, but maybe I was blessed with a deeper understanding of individuals, even from then. So for doctors, I would study them, I would know them, right? So I would know that one doctor would allow me to come in, because sometimes the waiting room is full and you have to have a problem. And some doctors definitely don't want to have the medical representative come in until they have dealt with all the customers. So you have to have some kind of an in. With some, I know that he wants a little break. And I'm a cricket fan. I like to talk about cricket. I know a lot about cricket. And if he is in that mode, then maybe his little break would be say, all right, let Smith come in, and so we can have a little quick banter about what's going on with the West Indies cricket team. And then, I show him some products and go quickly. Yeah, so that's one. Another one, and here's my real trump card, would be, I knew some of the doctors, they've studied a lot, and they have experience, and there's some pride in their knowledge and their mastery of the subject. So for me, I would go in and I studied up. I was trained in order to tell them about my product and what it does and what the contraindications and so on. But I would go in and say, have this. What do you think about it? And have them sell themselves on my product because they wanted to demonstrate. So I'm a humble little rookie medical rep that just wants some understanding of this. So that's a strategy. I'm just saying to you that that's part also of understanding clients, understanding customers, and how to get best results by understanding their behavioral preferences, understanding them. So some of them, like the D-style doctors, you better just go in, say what you have to say and get out quickly because time is money. That's sort of where it is. Right? All right. So our DISCerning communication strategy model makes a huge difference in how you can communicate. So here are some actions that I would suggest that we look at. Right? I'm just suggesting that this is not an overnight thing. You can't just get up tomorrow morning and to say, okay, fine, we're gonna enhance our customer centricity by deepening our understanding of customers and personalizing. It's going to take some time, and I'm suggesting it might take some external guidance because cultures run deep, and so it's not going to be so easy for whoever it is that is charged with this project to get it done. You might need assistance, and I'm putting up my hand. We're here for you. So what it is I'm saying to you is that one step would be to have the team and the staff understand the principles that underpin DISCerning communication, the DISCerning communication model. So one way, for example, is just a workshop, a one-day workshop where people understand how to understand themselves and how to relate to others. Yeah. So we used to call it reading people for success, but it's really reading behaviors. So it's a engaging interactive session where we go through so people understand. So when a customer comes in, they can quickly assess, is this person communicating from D, I, S, or C, and understand how best to respond to that individual. That's key. That's key. And that also, remember, we're talking about internally as well. Our work with teams resolve a lot of those issues so that people are now starting to communicate in a language, we call it the language of behaviors, that lands better, allows people to better, understand the communication from others and to move away some of the negative thoughts and to say, okay, fine, and I hear you. And I'm hearing you from a deeper understanding of behavioral preferences. Makes a huge difference, because if we're going to personalize external experiences, we have to start by changing what's happening internally. So that's a thought, and the suggesting that we have a talk. Let's have a talk. Let's expand this. Send me an email at info@successwithpeople.org, and just let's talk. Just like half an hour discussion. You can walk away to say, "Hey, I'm not interested," or "Yes, let's talk some more about this." This is something that makes a difference. It helps to have to create authentic connections, foster loyalty. By the way, it also, in terms of retention and engagement internally, this makes a huge difference. When people feel understood, they are more likely to stay. So what's the bottom line here then? I'm suggesting that by focusing on personalizing customer experiences internally and externally, we can create a body of customers that are loyal and enthusiastic about sharing this. When we talk about the power of mouth, word of mouth promotion, well, here it is. Okay. And then if you do that, then you're moving closer to customer centricity. But it has to come from the top. It requires leaders who are not only willing to model the behavior, but are seeking actively. Part of that strategic planning has to deal with actively shaping the organization to prioritize the customer every level. Every decision has to have the customer up front in the mind. So that's the suggestion. Again, I want to reinforce my invitation to set about enhancing customer centricity in your organization, but recognize that it is a multifaceted endeavor, and it's going to require a holistic approach from the top. And the results indicated give you statistics to show that the results go straight to the bottom line. We can assist you by deploying our DISCerning communication model. Let's have an exploratory conversation. Send me. I mean, I've even given you my WhatsApp direct, 876-535-6677. Talk to me personally about it, and we can just see what happens. So how do we do this? We actually build the whole thing around a deeper understanding. I've been involved with years in behavioral assessment. I've started out using one of the basic DISC tools until I learned the value, was exposed to the value of extended DISC, and moved to that platform and became a franchise holder. But what I've done now is built a whole body of information around the DISC framework, which is what we're looking at when we say the DISCerning model of communication and leadership. Tons of information. We have had some publications. If you want some publications, by the way, that is something that I could put there. You could just send us an email as well to info@successwithpeople.org, and in the top, just put publications, and I'll send you, how to turbocharge your leadership, for example, and how DISCerning Communication drives teamwork. Those are key publications that would enhance your performance, your influence, and your impact. And let's talk. All right. So trying to get under the 30 minutes that was with target. Sometimes we run over, but happy to talk to you. And as you know, as you see here, we are a SHRM recertification provider, which means that our courses and so on will be affixed with the SHRM seal, and also you can use those certifications for SHRM, CP and SCP recertification. Basically, what it says is that we operate at a level, a quality level that's of international standard. And so looking forward to having a conversation with you. info@successwithpeople.org, and maybe add a little ginger and a little beetroot to carrot juice of one of your customers, and you will be surprised to see how loyal they have become. Thank you.